औज़ुबिल्लाहिमिनश्शैतानिर्रजीम बिस्मिल्लाहिर्रहमानिर्रहीम रब्बी ज़िदनी इल्मा। ऐ मेरे रब मेरे इल्म में इजाफ़ा फरमा, आमीन। अस्सलाम वालेकुम क्लास, आई एम योर फिज़िक्स टीचर इरम। We are discussing chapter number 13, electrostatics. Today we will discuss the topics capacitor and combination of capacitors. After learning this topic, you will be able to define capacitor and its parts, know about the working of capacitor, identify capacitors in electrical circuits, understand the working of series and parallel combination of capacitors in circuits, and find out the equivalent capacitance of capacitors joined in series and parallel form. Before going in detail, you must remember some points so that you can easily understand all about our today's topics. The electrostatic induction produces static charges on any object. As we have discussed that due to electrostatic induction, first the charges on any neutral object are redistributed, and we can also produce one type of charge on any object due to electrostatic induction, but they are static charges on them, they do not flow. Electrons can flow in a closed circuit. First thing is that among two type of charges, positive and negative, only negative charges can flow, that are actually electrons. And if there is a closed circuit, then electrons can flow throughout the circuit. Now you are going to start discussing the circuits, so you must know about these things also. I will introduce some simple circuits today to you so that you can easily understand them in the next chapters. The term potential difference and voltage have same meaning. They are used interchangeably in different topics. Somewhere we use potential difference and somewhere we use the term voltage. Don't get confused with these two, as they have same meaning. A circuit diagram is a symbolic method of describing a real circuit. In some cases we have to just draw the circuit diagrams to show how any circuit works, any real circuit works, so that we have to use symbols to describe the real circuit. That is called a circuit diagram, which we can draw on the paper. The standard electric symbols are used for devices used in the circuits. There are different components, different devices used in different circuits. They are also called components of the circuit, and some standard symbols are used for each of that device to draw the circuit diagrams. For example, battery has a symbol, capacitor has a different symbol from battery, then resistor is another component which will have a standard symbol. All of these devices have standard symbols so that one can easily interpret the circuits. So let's start with our today's topic, capacitor. You can guess a word from this word capacitor, that is capacity. The word capacity. So we can define the capacitor as a capacitor is a device which is used to store charge. It means it has some capacity to store charge in it. It consists of two thin parallel metal plates and dielectric between the two plates. What is meant by dielectric? It is a sort of insulator. It is a type of insulator which is called dielectric, which is present between the two parallel metal plates of capacitor. Let's see. Here you can see the two thin metal plates having different charges, one positive and the other negative, and in between these parallel metal plates there is an insulator. This insulator is actually dielectric. This is called dielectric. This is a the simple representation. Whenever the capacitor is joined in a circuit. Here you can see these two metal plates with a dielectric between these two joined with a battery. Now you can see this symbol is used for battery. One positive terminal and the other is negative terminal. You can see the line for positive terminal is bigger than the smaller one, and there is a small gap between these two, and these lines represent the wires which are used to connect the battery with parallel metal plates. Now you must remember these um, symbols so that you can easily draw and interpret the circuits coming in next chapters. So these are lines represent the wires, and this symbol represents the battery connected with the capacitor. So capacitor is a device which is used to store charge, and whenever it is required, this capacitor is used there. Symbols used for capacitor. Now for drawing a circuit having capacitor, which symbols must be used? Which symbols will be used? One is like this. Here you can see two parallel lines. They represent the parallel metal plates, and these are the terminals to join the capacitor in the circuit. It can also be like this, means for drawing the capacitor, it can be in the circuit diagram, it can be drawn like this. These are two parallel metal plates with the terminals to join it in the with the other components. Here is a simple circuit. Here you can guess which one is the capacitor. Yes, this is the capacitor with two parallel metal plates, and the terminals it is joined with the wires with the other components in the circuit. This is battery. Now it is having more than two lines, positive, negative, positive, negative, positive and negative. It shows a battery with high voltage. This is a symbol for resistance, and this is a symbol for switch. It is very important and it is compulsory in every circuit. Battery and switch are present in almost every circuit. So you have to just see which one which component is represented, which component has which symbol. All of these you can see all of these components have different symbols. We will discuss them in the next chapters as well. Here you can see a capacitor is used in this circuit with the symbol. Now how charge is stored on a capacitor? As we have discussed that a capacitor is used to store a charge on it. So how it is done? How it is so that a capacitor is used to store charge? Here you can see a capacitor, a parallel plate capacitor. These green are the plates, parallel metal plates with some dielectric, means there is an insulator. Dielectric is insulator between the metal plates. So what will happen, as this capacitor is connected with the battery, now the circuit is complete. You can see that here is a battery with a positive and a negative terminal. So what will happen, as they are metal, both of these are metal plates, so they must have electrons free in them. They are free to move, and whenever electrons have a path to flow, they start flowing. As I have told you in the points to remember, that electrons can flow in closed circuits. So here is a closed circuit, so they will start flow. They will start flowing from one plate. As there is a positive terminal, so electrons will get attracted towards the positive terminal of battery. So here you can see these electrons are attracted towards the positive terminal of battery, leaving the positive charge behind. So this plate will become positively charged, and they will accumulate on the other plate. So this plate will become negatively charged. Here is the way that one of the metal plates gets positive charge and the second one gets negative charge. And how they are bound there? As you can see that I have told you that there is an insulator present between the two plates. So can you guess why insulator is here in between the plates? So that the electrons, the charges remain bound to the plates. If we use a conductor between the plates, the electrons will move again towards the positive plate and they keep on moving in the circuit. But what will happen here, as we have used an insulator, they will remain there, they will remain static on both of the plates. So here that's how a capacitor stores the charge on it. It will keep the negative charge on this plate and positive charge on this plate. As we have used an insulator between these two plates, so these positive charges will be attracted to the negative charges, but they cannot move towards each other because there is no physical link between them, because there is a insulator which do not help electrons to pass from one plate to the other. That's how the charge remain stored in the plates. It is bound in the plates. Let's see an animation. You can see the red electrons from one plate are moving in the circuit towards the positive terminal of battery, and they will move toward the second plate. You can see only the positive charges, the protons, remain on the first plate and the negative move towards the second place. That's how one plate becomes positively charged and the second plate become negatively charged. And there is a dielectric present between the plates. That's why they can not move from one plate to the other. That's how they remain bound there. So what is meant by capacitance? The ability of a capacitor to store charge is called capacitance. Now it is the ability of a capacitor that how much the charge is stored on it. Means if any capacitor has more ability, it can store more charge. If it has less ability, it will have less charge. Same is the case like we can say that you have school bags of different sizes with you. The small bags have less capacity and big bags have more capacity, and they can store the things according to their capacity. Same is the case with the capacitors. Here you can see if Q is the charge, the amount of charge represented by Q, and V is the potential difference or voltage, then we can say that they are directly proportional to each other. When this proportionality sign is finished, we will have a equality with a proportionality constant. In this case, Q will be equal to CV, where Q is the charge stored on the plates, V is the potential difference across the plates. Across the plates means one is having positive potential and the second is having negative potential, because different polarity of charges is present on both of the plates. So there is a potential difference between the plates. And C is the capacitance of capacitor, the ability of the capacitor to store the charge. It depends upon three factors. Number one is area of the plates, number two distance between the plates, and number three is the type of insulator between the plates. The ability of capacitor changes with the change in these three factors. So what is farad? As I have told you, from here you can see that C can be rearranged as, the capacitance can be rearranged as C equals to Q divided by V. So the unit of capacitance is actually farads, which is equal to coulomb. Coulomb is having the coulomb is the unit of charge and volt is a unit of V or potential difference, which is actually equals to farads. Let's see how we can define farad. The SI unit of capacitance is farad, represented by capital F. Farad is defined as, you can define it from this formula easily, from C equals to Q by V. We are having three things. If 1 coulomb of charge, this is 1 coulomb of charge given to the plates of capacitor produces potential difference of 1 volt. This is a potential difference of 1 volt. Then its capacitance will be 1 farad. It is always easy to define the unit of any quantity from the formula. As you can see, C equals to Q by V. If 1 coulomb of its charge is stored on the capacitor and produce a potential difference of 1 volt, its capacitance will be 1 farad. Farad is a large unit. Its smaller units are used, usually microfarad, nano and pico. I think you can remember these prefixes because you have learned them well. Micro means it is represented as mu f and it is equal to 10 raised power minus 6 farads. Nanofarads is nf equals to 10 raised power minus 9 farads, and pico is actually pf equals to 10 raised power minus 12 f. These are the smaller units used. How the capacitors are combined in different circuits. Let's discuss the combination of capacitors. Number one is capacitors in parallel. That capacitors can be joined in parallel form. First of all, you have to understand what is meant by parallel formation, parallel combination. Here you can see the symbol of a capacitor. Three capacitors are used in this circuit with different capacitances C1, C2 and C3. So these are joined. You can see that one plate of each capacitor is joined with one terminal and the other plate of each capacitor is used with the other terminal of battery. Here only the capacitors are shown, but they are actually combined with the battery. And how they are combined? One plate of each capacitor, here you can see they are interlinked and they are joined with one terminal of the battery, and the second terminal of each, second plate of each capacitor is joined with the second terminal of the battery, positive and negative. This is called the capacitors in parallel. They can also be drawn like this. We will discuss it. The characteristics of capacitors in parallel is, if two or more capacitors are put in a parallel circuit, the potential difference across each capacitor is same. The total charge stored by the capacitors is the sum of charges, and the total capacitance is full of all the individual capacitances. We will discuss it in detail. Let's see the second combination. It is the capacitors in series. Here first of all you have to understand what is meant by the series combination. Here you can see, if I draw the complete circuit like this, what is here? You can see one plate of the first capacitor is joined with one terminal of the battery, and one plate of last capacitor is joined with the second terminal of the battery. But within the second, you can see that the second plate of first capacitor is joined with first plate of second capacitor, then second plate of second capacitor is joined with first plate of third capacitor. It means the one of the plates of each capacitor is joined with the one plate of the next capacitor like this. So they are present in series form. This is called the series combination of capacitors. If two or more capacitors are put in series circuit, what will be the characteristics of circuit? The potential difference is shared between the capacitors. The total charge stored by the capacitors is same and the total capacitance is less than the individual capacitances. Now let's discuss them one by one. First is the capacitors in parallel. How the capacitors are joined in parallel. Whenever the capacitors are joined in parallel, here you can see another formation. It is also parallel form. You can see one first and second plate of C1. C1 is the capacitance of first capacitor. First and second plate of C2. C2 is the capacitance of second capacitor, and I have told you that one plate of each capacitor will be joined with one terminal of battery and second plate of each capacitor is joined with second terminal of the battery. Here you can see both of these capacitors are joined with the terminals of battery. What will happen when capacitors are first connected in a circuit? Electrons are transferred from the left plate through the battery to the right plate, leaving the left plate positively charged and the right plate negatively charged. As I have told you in the start of the chapter that how one plate of the capacitor gets positive charge and the other plate gets negative charge. The electrons from one plate which are joined with the positive terminal, they get attracted towards the positive terminal. So what will happen? Both of these plates of two capacitors are joined with the positive terminal of battery. So electrons from both of these plates will move toward the positive terminal and gets accumulated on these second plates of each capacitor, and according to their capacity, according to the capacity of first and second capacitor, the charge will be stored there. As the electrons leave the first plate, the plate is left with positive charge and electrons get accumulated on the second plate, so they will get negative charge. That's how they will be. So the plates joined with the positive terminal will get positive charge and the plates joined with negative terminal will get negative charge. Here you can see the combination that is given in your books, capacitors in parallel combination. There are different methods to draw the circuits. Here you can see the first capacitor, second capacitor and third capacitor. First of all, you have to draw them like this, one above the other. Then you have to join one plate of each capacitor like this and the second plate of each capacitor like this. These are the tips that how you can draw a circuit diagram. Then you have to take out these terminals to the battery. Here is the key. It is used in place of switch. They both have same purpose. Switch is like this. This is the positive and negative terminals of the battery. So what will happen? The first plate of each capacitor gets positive charge according to its capacity. That's why Q1, Q2 and Q3 is used. We are not using Q, Q and Q for three capacitors because according to its capacity, according to the capacity of each capacitor, it will store charge on it. If it has more capacity, it will store more charge. If it has less capacity, it will store less charge. But the potential difference across each will be same. Why? Because the potential difference which is at this point will be created on these 3 points as well, will be against each capacitor as well, which is on this point. So we can say that the potential difference V will be equal in the capacitors, but the capacitance and the charge stored will be different in parallel combination. So how we can find the equivalent capacitance for capacitors in parallel means, equivalent capacitance means what will be the sum of all the capacitances in this form, in this combination of capacitors. First of all, you have to remember the formula for capacitance. What was that? As you know that Q equals to CV. So rearranging it, we will get QV equals to C. It will help you to find the equivalent capacitance. In first point, you have to write that the potential difference among the 3 capacitors is same. That's why we can write V1 equals to V2 equals to V3 equals to V. We will have same symbol for these 3 voltages. V1, V2, V3 were actually the potential difference against these 3 capacitors, but as I have told you that it is same for each capacitor, so we can use same symbol for 3 of these. So we will replace them by V. And charge is different because charge is stored according to their capacities. So we can say that Q1 charge is for the capacitor C1, Q2 charge is the capacitor C2, Q3 charge is stored on the capacitor C3. Now putting the form and total charge stored by this combination will be equal to sum of the charges of 3 capacitors. Total charge is represented by capital Q. It will be equal to sum of these 3 charges which are present on 3 capacitors. By putting the value of Q1 from this, Q equals to CV, just use 1 index 1 for first capacitor and 2 for second capacitor and 3 for third capacitor. We will get C1V in place of Q1, C2V in place of Q2 and C3V in place of Q3. You can see that V is same in 3 terms. It will be taken as common. We are left with C1 plus C2 plus C3 in the bracket. V is multiplied here. It will be divided on the other side. Q by V will be equal to C1 plus C2 plus C3. Here it is. And Q by V will be equal to C, as you have used the formula. This is for C equivalent. As in this circuit you can see only 3 capacitors, so here are C1 plus C2 plus C3, and if n number of capacitors are used, n can be any number, so we will use up to Cn. So the C equivalent will be equal to sum of all the capacitances of the capacitors. As it is a sum, so it will be greater than the individual capacitors of any capacitor. That was the parallel combination of capacitors. Now let's discuss capacitors in series. How capacitors are joined in series. Here is the capacitors in series. When a battery is connected to the circuit, electrons are transferred from the left plate of C1 to the right plate of C2 through the battery. As this negative charge accumulates on the right plate of C2, an equivalent amount of negative charge is removed from the left plate of C2, leaving it with an excess positive charge. All of the right plates gain positive charges, charges of minus Q. All the left plates have charges of plus Q. As In in series circuit, I have told you that first plate of first capacitor is joined with the positive terminal, and last plate or second plate of the last capacitor is joined with the negative terminal. So these are directly connected with the battery. So what will happen? Electrons from first plate will move toward the positive terminal of battery and gets accumulated on the plate which is connected with negative terminal. Last plate will have negative charge, but first plate will have positive charge because now electrons are deficient there. Due to electrostatic induction, we know that as positive charge is here, this plate must have same amount of negative charge. As this plate have negative charge, due to electrostatic induction, the plate next to it, means this capacitor, the plate of the second capacitor will have positive charge accumulated on it. That's how we can say that same amount of charges will be present on both of the capacitors, but in this case the potential difference will be different on both of the capacitors. How? Because some potential difference, some potential is lost here to store the charge on this capacitor, but same amount of charge, this plate has positive charge and this plate has same amount of negative charge due to electrostatic induction. If this plate is negative, because electrons are accumulated here, so this is positive, then some voltage is dropped here to store the charge on the second capacitor, but the amount of charge present on this capacitor Q will be represented by Q, and the second will have same charge. So we in place of Q1 and Q2 we will only use Q, because they will have same amount of charge accumulated on their plates. Let's discuss it. Here is a series combination of capacitors. You can see 3 capacitors are here and they are connected with the battery. Suppose they have different capacitances represented by C1, C2 and C3. 1, 2 and 3 are used just to show that they have different capacitances, and V1 is the potential difference across first capacitor, V2 is the potential difference across second capacitor, and V3 is the same potential difference across third capacitor. As I have told you that the V will be different for each of these, but what is same here? Q, the same charge is present, is stored on each of these 3 capacitors. To find out the equivalent capacitor, what will we do? We will start with the quantity which is different. As I have told you that Q1, Q2 and Q3 will be equal to Q in this case, because these 3 capacitors have same amount of charge stored on them. But in this case potential difference is different in these 3, so it will be the sum of the 3. So the total potential difference against the 3 will be equal to V, and it will be equal to sum of the potential differences. Again you have to use the formula Q equals to CV. Here you have to use the formula for V, so you can rearrange it as Q by C. You have to write Q divided by C1 for first capacitor in place of V1. In place of V2 you have to write Q by C2. For V3 you have to write Q by C3, like this. Here you have Q common in 3 terms. Take it as common, and in bracket you are left with 1 by C1. Don't forget to write it as fraction, because here you are left with fraction 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. Q is multiplied here, it will be divided on the other side, V by Q. It will be equal to 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. Now V by Q is here, so how you can get V by Q? It is equal to Q by C is equal to V. If Q moves here, so you are left with 1 by C equals to V by Q. Here you are having V by Q, so you have to write 1 by C equivalent in place of V by Q. C equivalent is written because now we are having the sum of the capacitors but in fraction form. 1 by C1 plus 1 by C2 plus 1 by C3. That's why it is lesser, as they are fractions. Now they are divided by 1, so they are fractions, so they are lesser than each of the individual capacitors used in the circuit. In this case we are only having 3 capacitors, so we have to write up to 1 by C3, but if you have n number of, n can be any number, so you have to write the sum up to 1 by Cn. That's how we can get the equivalent capacitances of the capacitors in series and in parallel. That's all about our today's topic. If you have any problem, you can ask anything anytime. Homework is you have to answer the following questions after watching the video and reading the topic from book. Is the equivalent capacitance of parallel capacitor larger or smaller than capacitance of any individual capacitors in the combination? And define unit of capacitance. You have to only send the answer of these two questions in the group. You have to do the practice of these figures and examples as well, because these are very important, and don't forget to learn the side informations of this chapter. They are very important according to exam point of view. Thank you and Allah Hafiz.